A lot of people have been requesting that I teach people how to play Tetris. So I want to show you in this episode some basic stacking patterns. There are two different kinds of pieces, and well, there's 7 different tetrominoes, but they fall into 2 different categories. I like to call those categories the smooth pieces, which are I, L, O, and J, and the jagged pieces, Z, T, and S. The reason why is because of the number of corners each of the pieces have, and it will be evident when I show you how to stack them. So, to begin with, let's explore some stacking patterns using the smooth pieces, as I call them. I don't believe they have an official term. I've enabled pretty low gravity for the purposes of teaching. The way that you stack these kinds of pieces is you make 4x3 or 4x4 boxes. Observe. Notice how I'm putting the O's inside of the 4x4 box and making a U shape or a C shape depending on how you align it with the other pieces. Like pieces also tend to stack well together. As you're noticing with the eyes in the center. See how the O's, you can stack them, well, most people call them boxes, but they're all named by letters of the alphabet. Notice how I'm putting all the L's together. You can do that. These kinds of pieces are easy to stack just because all 4 of them fit well together with one another. Oh. And this is another reason why the pieces are grouped together in colors, to make it easy to fit them all together visually as well. I'll put this up here. Notice how the L's fit together nicely, the J's fit together nicely, O's all together. But the basic pattern with 4x4 with these kinds of pieces is drop. I should probably clean up a little bit before I continue. Alright, now we got some open space to work with. Let's say we take this L piece and drop it over here. Now what we can do is we have this O piece that we can put in the mouth of the L per se, and this I we can throw on the side, and now all we need to do is put a J in that last piece, that last spot there, and we've made a 4x4 box. There's actually a mode in Nulpomino that you can practice making boxes with, and it's really good for stacking. It's called Square. I'll show it to you after I'm done talking to you about the jagged pieces, which are generally the harder pieces to place. The Z, T, and S pieces. Stacking these is a little bit less intuitive than stacking the other pieces, but pretty much what you do is you fit them together like pieces of a jigsaw puzzle. with your S's going on the left side of T's and your Z's going on the right side of T's. You can also stack Z's and S's vertically as such. And now you can see again that like pieces tend to go well together. This is more important on legacy versions of Tetris that don't have the randomizer that guarantees equal number of pieces over the long term, as opposed to approximating it by having a true random distribution. These are the kinds. I really need to stop using hold when I do this. It's instinct. You'll learn hold later. The best way to stack these kinds of pieces, like I said, is think of them like a jigsaw puzzle. Another very important thing that you will learn about these kinds of pieces is you cannot stack them deeper than 1 deep. So if you have a hole like this one on the left, you won't be able to put any of these 3 kinds of pieces in there. You'll need to wait for an L or a J to drop in here. You'd be surprised how difficult it is stacking just these kinds of pieces, which is why they're often so difficult to place. I'll just make a couple more lines here to further demonstrate how these kinds of pieces fit together. And for those of you who have been wondering what I mean by 20G, that's actually a gravity setting. And I'll get into that more once you guys have learned the basics of stacking, because you need to have these down before you encounter high gravity situations. Alright, I think that's enough of that. Now let's put all the pieces together and start to put the 2 groups together. And you'll be able to see, turn them all on, not off. You'll be able to see how the 2 groups of pieces interact with each other. Another thing that you'll see yourself doing a lot once you gain more experience in stacking is you'll notice that you'll lay pieces flat more than you do lay them upright. A lot of beginner players get trapped into stacking pieces high. For instance, you'll see a lot of beginning players like to build their stacks like this. That is fine on games with lower gravity, but if you try to do this in a high gravity Tetris situation, that'll get you in a lot of trouble. So what you'll want to do when stacking is keep your stack as flat as possible and try to keep it open towards the gap where you're going to make your Tetris. Are you beginning to see where the pieces fall together? The hardest pieces to place tend to be O pieces, Z pieces, and S pieces. So I'll just make a few more lines. We're pretty much just waiting on an eyepiece now to drop into the corner for the almighty Tetris. Boom, 4 lines. Notice, really, I have to reiterate how important it is to keep your stack flat to... Oh, I misdropped. But it's very important to keep your stack as flat as possible. Because if you don't keep your stack flat, it's more likely that you won't have a place to put a piece, and that can result in having to clean up a mess like this. I think that's enough on piece placement.